The city was shrouded in darkness as the moon ascended into the inky sky, casting an eerie glow over the deserted streets. In the heart of the metropolis, a malevolent force lurked, waiting to unleash its unholy wrath upon the unsuspecting inhabitants. This was the domain of Fenris Bloodmoon, a supervillain of unimaginable terror who wore the veneer of wealth and power by day and transformed into a depraved werewolf by night. Fenris, the enigmatic tycoon, resided in a mansion that stood as a grotesque monument to his opulence. It loomed ominously on the outskirts of the city, concealing a hidden chamber where the malevolent metamorphosis took place. During the day, Fenris navigated the world as a charming businessman, but as the sun dipped below the horizon, he succumbed to the primal call of the moon, unleashing the monstrous beast within. The city had no knowledge of the terror that awaited them each night. Streets that once echoed with the hustle and bustle of daily life became the haunting grounds for Fenris Bloodmoon's reign of chaos. The air carried an otherworldly tension, as though the city itself held its breath, anticipating the malevolent transformation that would soon take place. As the moon's glow intensified, a chilling howl pierced the silence, signaling the beginning of Fenris's rampage. His transformation was a ghastly spectacle. Bones cracked, muscles contorted, and fur sprouted from his human form. In the span of seconds, Fenris transformed into a monstrous werewolf, a grotesque fusion of man and beast. His eyes glowed with an unnatural hunger as he prowled the streets with a predatory grace. The city's architecture crumbled beneath the might of his massive claws, and the air resonated with the anguished cries of those unfortunate enough to cross his path. Fenris reveled in the destruction, a malevolent force of nature leaving behind a trail of desolation. Buildings collapsed like house cards, and the once thriving cityscape became a macabre battleground. Fenris targeted both the powerful and the vulnerable, showing no mercy in his pursuit of chaos. The city's law enforcement, ill-equipped to handle such supernatural malevolence, watched helplessly as Fenris unleashed his wrath upon the metropolis. But Fenris Bloodmoon was not merely a mindless beast, he was a sadistic tormentor. His depravity extended beyond physical destruction. He delighted in the psychological torment inflicted upon his victims. At each crime scene, he left behind cryptic messages, taunting the city with promises of more terror. The messages hinted at an ancient curse and dark rituals, weaving a web of fear that entangled the minds of the already terrified populace. The citizens, living in constant fear, huddled in their homes, hoping the night would pass without the monstrous marauder's visitation. Whispers of the curse spread through the city like a contagion, infecting the collective consciousness with paranoia and dread. Fenris Bloodmoon became more than a name. He became a nightmarish legend, a spectral boogeyman invoked to scare misbehaving children and cautionary tales told in hushed tones. As Fenris continued his nightly reign of terror, the city spiraled into madness. Each full moon brought with it a renewed onslaught of destruction, leaving the once thriving metropolis in a state of perpetual fear and despair. The supervillain werewolf's legacy grew with each passing night, etching a chapter of horror into the annals of the city's history. The media was ablaze with sensational headlines, speculating on the identity and motives of the elusive Fenris Bloodmoon. Conspiracies and theories circulated like wildfire, with some suggesting that the werewolf was a manifestation of the city's collective sins, a vengeful force sent to cleanse it of corruption. Meanwhile, Fenris reveled in the chaos he wrought. The city was his canvas, and each act of destruction was a stroke in his macabre masterpiece. His wealth afforded him a perverse luxury, the ability to indulge in his monstrous desires without fear of reprisal. The mansion on the outskirts of the city became a sanctuary for the malevolent transformation, a place where the line between man and beast blurred into a grotesque fusion of wealth and depravity. One fateful night, as the moon hung low in the sky, Fenris's rampage took an even darker turn. The city, now a mere shadow of its former self, seemed to convulse with the agony inflicted upon it. Fenris, driven by a sadistic compulsion, targeted specific individuals, influential figures in the city's political and social fabric. His monstrous claws tore through the doors of mansions, and his howls echoed through the corridors of power. The rich and powerful, once immune to the terrors of the night, now found themselves at the mercy of the supernatural force that stalked them. Fenris reveled in the perverse pleasure of dismantling the structures of privilege and influence, leaving behind a shattered elite and a city in ruins. The media, now a tool of Fenris's psychological warfare, received cryptic messages that hinted at a malevolent agenda. The messages spoke of a reckoning, a cleansing of the city's sins, and a perverse desire to expose the rot that festered beneath the veneer of prosperity. The city's elite, once cocooned in their ivory towers, now faced the wrath of a beast that cared not for social status or wealth. As the city teetered on the brink of collapse, a small group of individuals emerged from the shadows. A disparate band of survivors, each touched by the horrors unleashed by Fenris Bloodmoon, came together with a shared purpose to unmask the beast and put an end to the reign of terror. They delved into ancient lore, seeking clues about the curse that bound Fenris to his monstrous form. Their journey led them through forgotten archives, occult libraries, and secret societies that whispered of forbidden knowledge. The group uncovered a dark history that intertwined with the city's origins, a tale of a vengeful curse placed upon those who dared exploit the city for their gain. Fenris, it seemed, was the manifestation of that curse, a creature born of the city's collective sins and the embodiment of retribution. Armed with this newfound knowledge, the group devised a plan to confront Fenris Bloodmoon. They sought to exploit the vulnerability that lurked beneath the beast's monstrous exterior, the human soul trapped within the cursed shell. Each member brought a unique skill set to the table, from arcane knowledge to combat prowess, and together they prepared for the ultimate showdown. The night of the next full moon arrived, and the city held its breath in anticipation of Fenris's onslaught. The group, clad in makeshift armor and armed with ancient artifacts, ventured into the heart of the city, guided by the chilling howls that reverberated through the desolate streets. The confrontation with Fenris Bloodmoon was inevitable. The group tracked the beast to its lair, the mansion that stood as a grotesque symbol of wealth and malevolence. As they entered the mansion's hidden chamber, they were greeted by the monstrous form of Fenris, a creature fueled by primal rage and centuries of pent-up fury. A fierce battle ensued as the group fought against the werewolf's savage onslaught. Fenris, however, proved to be a formidable adversary, his supernatural strength and speed testing the limits of their resolve. The mansion became a battleground, with walls shaking and artifacts shattering as the group struggled to subdue the beast. Amidst the chaos, one member of the group, a scholar well-versed in ancient rituals, uncovered a way to break the curse that bound Fenris. The ritual required a combination of mystical artifacts and the convergence of lunar energies, and the group frantically worked to set the plan in motion. As the ritual unfolded, the mansion quaked with the supernatural forces at play. Fenris, momentarily weakened by the arcane energies, writhed in pain, revealing a glimmer of the human consciousness trapped within the monstrous exterior. The group pressed on, fueled by the desperate hope that they could save the tormented soul within the beast. In the climax of the ritual, the curse binding Fenris began to unravel. The werewolf's monstrous form contorted and convulsed, and the air resonated with the agonized howls of the creature. The city outside the mansion seemed to hold its breath, awaiting the outcome of the supernatural battle that unfolded within its heart. As the final incantation echoed through the chamber, the curse shattered, and Fenris Bloodmoon collapsed to the ground. The once mighty werewolf lay defeated, its monstrous form replaced by the battered and broken body of a man. The group, victorious but weary, approached the fallen figure. The man beneath the curse was revealed to be none other than the charismatic businessman, Fenris, whose eyes now held a glimmer of recognition and remorse. The city, once gripped by fear, began to awaken from its nightmarish slumber. The dawn broke, casting its warm light over the city that had endured a night of supernatural horrors. The group, now hailed as heroes, stood amidst the ruins of the mansion. Fenris, freed from the curse, gazed upon the destruction wrought by his monstrous alter ego. The city, scarred but alive, began the slow process of rebuilding, haunted by the memories of Fenris Bloodmoon's reign of terror. The story of Fenris Bloodmoon became a cautionary tale, a dark chapter in the city's history that spoke of the consequences of unchecked greed and the price of prosperity built on the suffering of others. The mansion, once a symbol of wealth and depravity, crumbled into ruins, a stark reminder of the transient nature of power. As for Fenris, He chose to live in seclusion, haunted by the memories of the atrocities committed during his cursed nights. The city, scarred but resilient, embarked on a path of healing, determined to rebuild not only its physical structures but also the collective spirit that had been shattered by the horrors of the past. The once terrifying legend of Fenris Bloodmoon faded into obscurity, a cautionary tale told in hushed tones by those who remembered the night when the line between man and monster blurred into a grotesque fusion of wealth and depravity. The city, forever changed by the ordeal, carried the scars of its darkest chapter, a testament to the enduring struggle between light and darkness within the human soul.